Hi, this is Vincent Flores, and I'm reviewing the video of Juno. So, your email mentioned that she is a draft cross, which I can see a little bit in her conformation. And one of the things that is noticeable if you look at the way she's built and perhaps the struggle you can have during the video is not so much about the fact that she's on the forehand like a lot of draft horses could be. It's mainly that she has a very short neck, right? So the shape of her neck and the way it's attached makes it difficult for her to actually work and really like connect from the back to the front, right? And you can see when she's relaxing a little bit, she's able to arch this neck a little bit, because the contact itself is not bad, in the sense that she's not discussing the contact too much. She's a little bit inconsistent, but it's not because of the fact that she doesn't tolerate the bit. It's primarily because she's a little bit too she's not able to use her body correctly. And when you see, for example, when you look at her go on the circle, so you're doing a lot of circle lines, which is a good thing. I'll talk about that in a bit, but she has the tendency to stay too straight on those circles, right? So in order for her to engage, especially the inside hind leg, and be able to come a little bit more into your contact by being through her back, she has to be able to have the haunches on the circle, right? So right now she's a little bit, especially here to the right, what happens is that the haunches are slightly out and she drops the shoulders so she drops the inside shoulder. So when she travels, she should hollow a little bit more around your right leg and then bend the midsection of her body with a long neck in front of her and be able to flex that neck and flex the pole in order to be basically shaping her body to describe a curve, right? And that's what she really struggles with, in fact. She doesn't have a very bad longitudinal balance, but the lateral balance is a little bit more difficult for her, especially on the right rein. And also she doesn't bend at all. So one thing that I would do personally is that I would avoid to stay on very, very large circles, because you really want to put her in a situation where she has to bend, because biomechanically the shape of the circle requires that. So I would stay on 10 to 15 meter circles and change the bend of the circles very often, right? And really you have to feel that you can move her away from your inside leg to the left and to the right, that every time she's changing direction, she's not dropping the inside shoulder. Again, to the left, it's actually not bad. She is able to maintain the lateral balance, but to the right, there's a clear shift of weight from her left hind leg to the diagonal pair, right? So to the right front. So she's offloading a little bit that left hind, which is probably the weak hind leg. So here is a good example of her really coming through and nice to the left. So this, for example, is a good connection, right? I like it quite a bit. So because she's able to like arch the neck, come around, take your contact. She's pushing behind. She's engaging more than the inside the hind. But that's because she's a little bit asymmetrical, like a lot of horses. So you need to have that same feeling when you are basically on the right range now. And to do that, one exercise that you can do, besides changing bend, which is important to do with her, is once in a while make a smaller circle and then push her away to make a larger circle with your inside leg. flexing her to the right, right? So she really needs to let go a little bit, to hollow, not only around the right leg, but I would offer you to open your right hand, not to pull back, but to open it, to create a funnel, and to also really encourage her to like flex that neck a little bit to the right. So another suggestion that I would give you, so there's a bit of a spook here, and you can see, sorry, I will come back to my suggestion, but that spook, for example, shows you what is her go-to, right? So her go-to is like, she shortens the neck and hollows her back. And so you really want to try to ride her the opposite way when she's not spooking, of course. So the opposite way, meaning like you want to be able to have her a little bit longer in the neck, not necessarily like deeper, but a little longer. So this is a better frame here to the right. Yeah, so another suggestion that I would like to give you is to do a lot more transitions, right? Because the transitions are not going to be helping you much with the issue that is related to the bend, but it will help her to engage a little bit more the inside hind leg. So on the canter to the right, what we can see here is that the connection is not too bad. Again, she has a pretty good longitudinal balance, so she has a good self-carriage, right? But the canter lacks a little bit of rhythm. So rhythm in the canter refers to the 3-beat, right? So there are moments where she's borderline 4-beat, and that shows a little bit of impulsion, right? So you may want to be able to influx more impulsion into her canter, again, by doing a lot more transitions. So instead of doing circles of canter and then trot and then you stay in the trot, try to decide, for example, every half a circle, I ask for a transition from the canter to the trot for 3 to 4 strides, and then I canter again, right? So that way the very quick and swift transition and frequent transitions from canter to trot will help you to gain a little bit more impulsion and engagement there. So again, to the left, I'm quite pleased with the way she goes, right? So, but the canter to the left, so here, I'm not sure what happened. I don't know if she's spooked or if you were unclear in your canter depart. But the canter itself is also lacking a little bit of rhythm, right? So we really want to see more impulsion on her side, right? So even if you're not gaining this through transitions, you have to always think, perhaps as a habit, every 4 or 5 strides, I close my inside leg, right? So you ask her to have a little bit more impulsion in the canter, so the rhythm is better. So this is better here, in fact, right? So that canter has a little bit more momentum, and it's a bit more correct in terms of rhythm. And she goes quite nicely into the bridle here. So I haven't commented on your position. Your position is actually very good. I like the fact that you have very steady hands. You keep your elbows close to your body, and you really you're able to really sit in your saddle. So you have a very good position. Now, sometimes I also want you to consider that for the purpose of helping her to bend, especially to the right, like you don't have to stay so discreet and quiet with your hands. You can also open one, right? Open, invite with an opening rein, especially the inside rein, in order for her to find a way to sort of like funnel herself into hollowing around your inside leg. This connection is very good, for example. This is basically the end product. That's what you want all the time. And that's the way for her to use her back. This will develop her top line. And that's exactly what you have to feel to the right. Because she's really off your inside leg, coming into your right rein. So, I mean, she has a lot of qualities. I know she's a little hot and she's a little spooky, but you know what? If she wasn't like that, probably she wouldn't be able to do what she does being a draft cross, because she has a lot of energy, and so therefore she has a lot of power there. And you have to be able to use that power, for the purpose of her pushing and coming into the contact using her back. And again, my main really suggestion is to improve the bend, especially to the right, by circling smaller and more transitions in the canter.